Afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to some OP replays. Today we got two replays. We have the SU-130 PM and we have an IS-8. Yes, two tanks that don't really feature too much on the channel. Now, the SU-130, if you don't own the SU-130, is very similar to the Scorpion G. Very similar. However, it is a bit lower than the Scorpion, and it of course is the Russian tank. Now the gun don't travel, you can't turn the gun all the way like you can with the Scorpion G. Now myself personally prefers the Scorpion G over this tank. However, a lot of people do prefer this tank. Now if you look at Droodles, he done a video a while ago and he prefers this over the Scorpion G. I don't. I prefer the Scorpion G. I don't know what it is. I just prefer the Scorpion G. However, this tank is still a fantastic tank. But like the Scorpion G, it has 0 armor. So you need to be very careful. Now, he's come here. Now, how you play this tank? It's again, it is like the Scorpion G. I wouldn't rush in very early because you could get wrecked. You could be just ripped apart because you've got no armor profile. So using it as a tank destroyer from the start and get into a camping spot kind of thing and just farm a bit of damage. And then later on in the battle, if you need to rush forward, you've got the mobility on this tank to get around the map very quickly. So what he's going to do here, he's basically just going to sit here. The Object 704 is in a bad situation. There's a lot of tanks around this side of the map, but there's also a lot of tanks around the other side of the map that is taking care of the medium tanks. So he's a platoon here in the Chimera is now got basically 4 tanks all around. So he should be backing up. He should be backing up and bringing these tanks out to his mate. They should be communicating, and that way at least, I don't think he's going to keep him alive, but he's going to be able to farm quite a bit of damage here with his 2 mate there opening all these tanks. Now, unfortunately, at the moment, he's not taking all the shots. He is bouncing a few shots, but he is going to make that up. So there goes his platoon mate, and there goes 2 tanks. So 2 tanks down for his team, 1 tank down for the enemy team. But you can see now, because he's in this position, he can farm quite a few tanks because they are literally all in the open. There's so many tanks. Even the 168, even the VK 168 is up there on that hill there, and he's not going to be able to move quickly. He's a slow tank, so if he's in the open like he is, our SU-130 is going to just completely be able to farm this guy. The only way out, I think, for that VK is to drop down, and he's going to have to drop down into the water. But yeah, it's a very slow tank, and you can see now he's got to go for these one-shots. He has to go for these one-shots, and he has to clear these teams. So it is now a 4 versus 4. He's farmed up 3.1k damage, and the VK168 is now going to make it very easy. Now, I do respect the enemy team because they all stuck together. At least they went together, but the VK for the 168, yeah, he's just been ripped apart. But unfortunately for him, you can see people will start using HE. If they see this tank, they will try to shoot you with HE, and he gets away with that one. He was very lucky with that one, but I knew what he was going to do. Now, what he was going to do is just go into the T92, because him going into the T92, he would also be hidden from these 2 heavy tanks. So I'd rather take a shot from the T92 and then that's it. Then you're also hidden from these 2 tanks, and he has better DPM, I think, than the T92. So I see what he was doing, but he did get away with it because luckily someone else shot the T92, so he didn't take a shot from that guy. Now, the 53 TP is coming around. Now, thankfully, because he's coming around, he's also now hidden from the E75. But yet again, his team is there to save the day and keeps him alive with still a little bit of hit points. So he can actually take a shot from the E75. Unless the E75 high rolls with HE, he can actually take a shot from this guy. But he's managed to farm up. He got himself into a position where he can farm a bit of damage, and because of that, he's on 6,200 damage, which is still a lot of damage for a tier 8 tank. Again, that kind of tank, you need to get yourself into a position where you can dish out that damage, and then later on in the game, if you've saved your hit points, if you're needed, you can then rush into the enemy team, because you can afford to lose the hit points. So GG managed to farm up nice ace, nice amount of damage, and a well-deserved victory. So next up, we're going to look at an IS-8 driven by Romulus. Now this tank it's a hit and miss. It's a hit and miss tank, because it doesn't really have armor. The front plate is quite weak. The thing with this tank, I've said it before, is it's one of the most troll tanks in the game because of the armor. It's so troll. I mean, any of the IS-7 is very, very similar, and you'll bounce more shots on your side more than you will on your front. If people shoot the front, they're going to just be able to pen you very, very easily. But the side, because of the spaced armor, it's very troll. People shoot you thinking that they're going to be able to pen you very, very easily, and then they bounce because they're hitting just nothing. And it's so frustrating when you do come up against an IS-8 and an IS-7 where you shoot the side and you just bounce, and it does really, really frustrate you, because you're looking and you're like, how is that a bounce? That should not have bounced. Now, he's got a couple of juicy HE shots into the T49. Of course, this tank, when you're up against tier 10, it is easy to deal with. I don't worry about tier IS-8, sorry. I'm not really scared of them. Most people driving the IS-8 are not that good players. If I'm honest, they're not good players. You don't really see an IS-8 doing really, really well in the game. I've never really seen a high damage battle in an IS-8. But yeah, when you're up against tier 8s, this tank is troll. It's got everything. The DPM's not bad for what it is. The speed is really, really good for what it is. And the gun's all right. And this guy, he's RNG. I mean, that's what I'm on about there. A bounce from the side from the T49. I mean, that wasn't hard. Of course, bouncing a T49 isn't hard. But if tanks decide to shoot heat at you on your side, yeah, good luck, because you're not going to pen. Now, you can see here, when you are facing the enemy tanks, you're just going to get deleted. You're going to get ripped apart. And he's basically lost almost all of his hit points. Well, more than half of his hit points in just that little situation there. Everyone shooting him, everyone penning him, and the only bounce he's currently got is from the T49. But the T49 is not going to pen him. The T49 is not going to pen him on the side using heat. If you're in that situation, you're best off just shooting HE, because at least you're going to do some damage. You're not going to do a lot, but you're going to do some damage. And again, always try to hide that front plate, because the front plate on this tank is really, really weak. And you're best off showing your side than you are your front plate. So if you are in a situation where you can't go hold down, or you can't side scrape or anything like that, then yeah, just show your side, because you're more likely to bounce them shots. So currently 5.2k damage. He has had quite a few nice HE shots this game. Very nice HE shots. And again, nice easy pen for the 120 there. 5.6k damage, and he's still only blocked that one shot from the T49, and there is still 2 tanks left alive. So finally, he does get a block from the WZ111. So that brings his block damage up to 960. You're always going to block damage in this tank. You're always going to have some block damage. The same as the IS-7. You're always going to have some blocked damage, but most of that block damage will come from tanks shooting your side. Now you can see the hit mark there on the side. That's from the T49. and you're, like I said, you're going to get a lot of block damage if you show your side more than you show your front. Now, he's only blocked that one shot from the WZ-111, but basically he was pretty much hull down, and he gets the block. So far, he's on 5.6k damage, so he's already done a fantastic job, and he loves the use of the HE. I like the fact that he loves the use of the HE. Even the E75 there, he knew he couldn't pen, so in that situation, just fire a bit of HE, and he's still done almost 200 damage to that guy. And now that there was a lucky shot. I'm surprised that penned into the E75. So now 6.1k damage. It is a 3 versus 1. However, they are still low hit points, so the E75 could still easily win this game. But yeah, I think 3 tanks is just a bit too much for the E75, so he's just going to get behind him. I would have just stayed there, blocked him, but no need. It is game over, and a very nice victory. So 7,000 damage there, 4 kills, and a very, very nice win. And it's one of the most troll tanks in the game. The ISA, I've said it all along, the ISA is one of the most troll tanks in the game because of mainly the side armor and how much it bounces from the side. So let me know if you're having issues dealing with an IS-8. Do you get the troll bounces when you're in the IS-8? Because it's frustrating when you come up against an IS-8, you shoot its side and it bounces. It's very, very frustrating. But GG guys, thanks for the replays. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye. With